Well, hello everyone. I'm super excited to be here. I thought I was live and then I was talking and then I realized that I hadn't pressed the start broadcast button. So now that I am here, I can't wait to share with you everything that I have to share. First things first though, I want to see if you're here that you actually comment in the section below the Hangout. In the training page, if you comment, so I see Alexia, Alicia, or Alicia, you correct me on that one later, Ananda and Annie that are here. Anybody else that's on the line, please comment. I want to see who you are. I want to connect with you. That's a lot of fun. So here's the rules of play. We're going to be touching, I actually started thinking about this webinar, and the first thing that I thought about was the fact that I wanted to talk about how I went from 60K to making consistent 10K months. And then I realized, there's a little bit more to this than just my part of the story. It's also about how to create that huge jump, right? So how to go from not having that consistency to having that consistency, and a lot of what that leads to is being able to have that quick turnaround and being able to get results really quickly. So I want to focus a lot of the call on that. So, but let me tell you before we even go into any of that, I want to sort of give you some instructions before we get into any of the content, just so that you make the most out of this event, okay? So how fit into the mold of what I know, right? So do I understand this based on the beliefs that I already have? Can I sort of filter through it and make sense of this? Is this organized the right way? I had some feedback from someone a little while ago that was just like, oh, I didn't get the little structured and like all these other things that were laid out. I don't work that way. Okay, I allow the flow. I make sure that I give you everything that I need to give you, but I also allow some space for the flow to happen, because that's when I get, even more inspiration. That's when I actually am able to give you everything that you need. Okay, so it's more, how can I use this? How can I use this to help me shift the way I'm thinking about the problem right now? Okay, because as we all know, the way that we relate to the problem is the problem. So if we're thinking, we're already automatically in the space of, I don't know how to use this. Don't stop it. Don't block it with a statement. Ask a question, okay? Think of something like, how can I use this, right? And ask yourself a different question, and that's going to help to open up to receive what I'm actually saying. And I'm going to give you a very quick example, which I think that you will appreciate. I worked for the last year or so with David Nagel, and I was in his mastermind, which is excellent. As you all know, I hope that you know, he's an amazing mentor. He's a millionaire mentor. He's had so many people go through his program and become millionaires. It's really, really awesome. And it's all based in mindset. Okay. So I remember about 2 years ago or so, maybe like a year and a half, that I was watching one of his events and I could not absorb anything that he was saying. And if you know anything about him, he doesn't change what he talks about. He talks about the same thing over and over and over. It's the way that we receive it, right? Like when we receive, it's where we're at, whether we're actually able to receive. So what I'm asking you to do is to open up, put down the inhibitions, and just absorb. And then if something doesn't make sense, you have options. You can ask a question, right, down below. You can also ask yourself something more about it later so that you can actually be able to absorb this content. It's going to be really rich, and I'm going to go really quickly because I want to make sure that you guys all have everything that you need in order to make this quick leap forward. I don't want to hold back, and I don't want to go away being way too structured either, because I know that that's going to prevent the shift to actually happen, okay? So how to do this so that you can actually absorb everything is by taking questions. Like, I mean, not taking questions, about writing down what you have questions about, okay? So there's a couple of things. First, you want to take notes on the things that you don't understand, right? And then you want to take notes on the things that you understand consciously. So you may have some idea consciously of, you know, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that, right? But you're still not doing it. So that means that you really don't know it. You have a conscious understanding of it, and that's completely different. When you know something is when you're actually practicing and you're getting results. If you're not getting results, and you want to write those things down again so that it's a reminder to you to then go out and do it again, okay? Because if you're not doing it, then you know that you know, the success is going to be blocked in one way or another, okay? And then I have 3 things for the end of the call. So there's going to be a surprise bonus. Let me turn off my email. My email is a cha-ching, so it's actually kind of fun, but it can be distracting, so let me turn that off. Okay, there are 3 bonuses that you could be eligible for. The first one is a surprise bonus, which is 10K in 30 days done for you bonus, which I'll talk about at the end. And it has everything to do for people that are just not into technology, not into setting up, not into systems and structures. I am very much into systems and structures, so I love that stuff. But if you're not into it, that could be something that it could be very beneficial to you. There's a surprise bonus that I'll talk about at the end that I'm not going to share now. I'll share about it later. And then there's a Q&A. So if you start, you know, listening to some of these things and you start understanding some of it, but you're not really getting it, and there's questions about this or questions about that, the worst thing that you could do is not ask a question. So just write it. As soon as it enters your head, just write it down and then put it in the Hangout page. Let me see how many more of you are here right now. And then I can get to them later. Awesome. I can see a lot of people. Guy is here, Heather, Kim, Shakira, Courtney. Awesome. Renette is here, and Allison. Okay, awesome, guys. So nice to see you. I know there's so many more of you on the line, so definitely check in and say hi. Just become visible. Visibility is a good thing. Okay, so let's get to some of the stuff. So I was asking for guidance, you know, from the universe, like, what should I really be covering in the session? Because I wanted it to be really powerful for everybody. I wanted you guys to get everything that you needed. And there were 2 quotes that were the guidance that I received. And I recalled one I was reading, the other one I recalled. So there were 2 things that came into my consciousness that I felt were really important. And I want to share them with you because I think that it's going to start giving you a perspective of what it actually takes to create this leap, to actually take the leap to the next level. And it's really like, once you hear them, if you need to go back later and, you know, listen to this again, because they're so strong that there may be quite a few takes before you actually absorb everything that's in it. The first one is by Robert Russell from God Works Through Faith. It's one of my favorite books. He says, why do we ask for another's help? Why do we have practitioners? When the evidence of the senses seem to overpower us, when we cannot see reality through the cloud of false evidence, we are often impelled to seek the help of one whose wisdom is not obscured by our problem. Okay? This, and I'm going to get back to that in a second. The second quote is from this book, The Voice of Knowledge by Don Miguel Ruiz. And the quote says, "The truth needs to be experienced. Humans have the need to describe, to explain, to express what we perceive. But when we experience the truth, there are no words to describe it." Okay, whoever claims this is the truth is lying without even knowing it. When I read those two, I was like, this is exactly what I'm going to be talking about today. Okay, so you have come here because, as Russell says, there's something that you can't see. Okay, there's something that you can't see right now, and it's actually creating the results that you don't want. Okay, and right now you are probably exhausted from trying to make your business work for the last few years, and it's just become a little bit of a nightmare, and you just want to find a way out without having to go back to your dreaded job, right? Nobody wants to go back to their dreaded job, so I really understand. And you're also suffering from what I call a little bit of the why not me syndrome, where you see everybody else succeeding, you see all of these posts on Facebook from people that are, you know, sharing their successes, and you're like, but why not me, when you know very well that you do have the skills, you have the ability to create that change, but it's still not happening. Okay, and like most women that reach out to me, you're tired of making the leap and investing some more, but the only thing that you have created is pretty much a gaping hole in your bank account. And I'll share with you a little bit more about my story, about how I also did that, understanding very well that you can totally come out of it very quickly, which is also what this call is about. Okay, and you really want to create your business, like your business, not someone else's business. You're not up for, you know, copying someone else. You're not up for, you know, having a business that's not spiritual, that's not a full expression of who you are. You really want to, pretty much, you don't want to compromise. You don't want to compromise what you know you're here to do, and you want to make also more money because of it. You don't want it to be a deterrent. My English sometimes, seriously. But you want it to be an asset, something that you can use to leverage how much you can actually make, and you can actually make more because of it rather than less, right? And what you really want is to step on the gas, right? You want to step on the freaking gas, and every time that you go to accelerate, what you end up doing is putting your foot on the freaking brake, right? So you go to try and leap, you go to try and do the next thing, and then what you end up doing is stopping and stopping and stopping, and you're not getting anywhere. Okay, so it's really easy. It's really easy, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to come out of that pattern. Okay, so the other catch is, which is what Don Miguel Ruiz talked about. I don't like saying Ruiz like that. Ruiz, okay? He talked about pretty much what he was saying in that quote is that you need to experience the truth for yourself. Okay, and I'm going to get a little serious here because this is part of what I've been seeing popping up a lot in my Facebook feed. So I will talk about that in a second. You need to have that experience for yourself. You need to experience the truth for yourself. Nothing happens until you have your own experience, okay, of what it feels like to make 10,000 in a month, okay? The idea here is to get you your own experience ASAP, okay? So it can happen in as little as 30 days. It can be, you know, it can be even shorter than that if you want to, okay? So you can shift from your current income to 10K and beyond. But I'll talk about that, how you can do that even more towards the end. But what I'm trying to say is that it's very important that you understand that nothing happens, really, nothing settles, nothing actually becomes consistent until you have your own experience. So the main and the most important thing is to get you your own experience as soon as possible, okay? So I'm gonna explain just in a second why I'm doing the training like this and why I'm talking about these things, okay? Most people think that mindset is about 80%. I think that mindset is about 90% of the work, especially for entrepreneurs, okay? Most people get stuck on the strategy. And the strategy is really easy. I mean, you can sell your program with a Facebook post, right? The strategy, and in fact, I have sold my program with a Facebook post, a conversation, and done deal, okay? A lot of my clients have come to me that way. But you can only execute with the right mindset and the right understanding of it. For example, if you think that something is hard or that it will be hard, so in your own experience up to this point, it's taken you a very long time, very likely, right? It may have been a year already, 2-3 years. A lot of my clients have been trying for 2 to 3 years to make their business work. So if you have that experience, you almost get used to that experience, okay? So it's really hard for you to actually believe that something else is possible. But the mindset will change everything. If you think it's hard, that will stop you before you even start. But if you can actually believe and have a different set of beliefs that makes you feel that it could be easier, then it's that quick, okay? I saw, and this is what I was telling you guys about before. I saw a post the other day from someone in one of the groups that was talking about the fact that you can do this by yourself, okay? And I agree that we have the capability to be able to do this by ourselves. We do have the power, the raw power, to be able to do this by ourselves. But I was talking to one of my clients earlier, and I was telling her, we are not born with a business degree, right? We're not born understanding business. Some of us have some capabilities in one way, some of us have capabilities in the other, and they help us in our business. But I really, really honestly feel that a lot of the times when we actually have that belief, that's one of the first things that stop us. Because we believe it so much that we're not even able or willing to actually receive help from the outside. And the truth is that when you have, when I have seen, I have, met a lot of successful people, especially going to David's mastermind, and people that are making an incredible amount of money, a lot of millionaires in that gang, very, very awesome people, very, very talented, very spiritual, very, very good, right? And I haven't seen a single person that has been successful by themselves. So I understand that we do have that power to be able to do it, but I wasn't able to. And I haven't met a single person that has been successful at the level that you want to be successful, making $10,000 and above, that has been able to do it by themselves. And I want us to start to try to shift some of this perspective, because it's really keeping us stuck, okay? So this is a training that will give you the right direction. I am going to be starting to shift some of your perspectives, because like I said, I believe that mindset is 90%, okay? I will talk a little bit about the strategy, but that's not it. That's not it, because like I said, you can go out there with the right mindset and the right tools, and you can get a client from a Facebook post, okay? Very, very easily and very quickly when you know exactly what to do. So listen, really listen and absorb this information, because it will really create a shift in you if you allow it to, okay? I'm going to be addressing everything that I'm going to be talking about from the mindset perspective, because that is what I know that makes the change, okay? When you have the mindset, it's very easy to move forward. Okay, so the number one in mindset that happens before a big breakthrough that I want to share with you is, I want to share with you in relation to my story and how it happened to me, so that you can see what, or you can sort of like see what to expect. And this is something that I've heard repeated. It was really quite funny because I was thinking about it in terms of other entrepreneurs that before, when I was talking, when I wasn't successful yet, when I wasn't really making anything consistent, when I wasn't really when I didn't have that many clients, I probably had like one or two, you know, and I was struggling, and they were getting really awesome results, but nobody else knew me, and I was dealing with visibility issues, all that stuff. Okay. And I was talking, I was thinking, when I was reading some people's success stories, right? And they were all sharing about how it happened, how they actually made the decision, and then it actually, you know, started shifting everything. And I really do believe that everything happens when you make that decision. And if it hasn't happened, you really have to ask yourself and question whether you have actually made the decision to be successful. And I'm saying this to you because, one, I don't want you to stay stuck, right? I was stuck for a very long time. And even though I was working 80-hour weeks and I was actually, you know, investing $60,000 like freaking crazy, I invested so much money and I did so much work and I was working so hard, right? I hadn't made the decision to be successful and to make it non-negotiable for myself. So I have heard so many people before talk about this, about when it happens, like how it happens and what makes the difference, okay? And the difference that is made is in urgency. If you don't have, if you haven't become successful, it comes from the decision and the urgency, okay? Because you haven't made a decision that it will happen no matter what, and that you're willing to do whatever it takes for you to actually get it done, and because there's nothing really pushing you. So there's a level of clarity that you haven't gotten to as to why you're really doing this. What is this really going to prevent you from doing if you don't, okay? And what it actually will help you to create in your life. And a lot of the people are very clear on the, as much as the next person, and but there's something that's not happening. There's a fire under your ass that is not being created right now. I've spoken to a lot of women that have husbands that are taking care of the household. No urgency. I've spoken to people that have huge savings, or they have legacies, so they've received, you know, a ton of money from another source, or they, you know, whatever the deal is, or they still have a job and they feel like they don't have enough time, or, you know, they're comfortable enough, right? No urgency. Okay, if you're in any of these situations, you really have to understand that there's something that you're not understanding about your situation. Because when you make that decision and you have that urgency, it happens very quickly. And I know I'm going to be doing this a lot, by the way. I'm very Cuban, so, you know, sorry about that. It will happen, okay? When you make that decision and you make it non-negotiable. And you have to understand that that's exactly how it happened to me. Like, I was working, like I said, 80-hour weeks for 2 years straight. Okay, the first year was even worse than the second one, I have to admit. The first year was horrible. I was, you know, I think I had like 2 clients. I had a client for, you know, my 6-month program, and I had a client for my 3-month program. And that's it. That's it. And I invested $40,000 in my first year, about 20 in the second year. And it's probably more than that. I just don't even want to look anymore. I think I've capped it at 660. But that went into like an array of different amounts that I went from my sister to my 401k, to my savings, to my credit cards, all of that. It went so much that into my business and no results, okay? No results. But I'm going to tell you this. There's one truth that I knew from that entire time, okay? If I invest in myself, it might not work because it wasn't working, right? I was doing all of these things and trying all these different programs. I remember buying a bunch of marketing programs, doing B-School, doing all of these other programs, and nothing was really working, okay? But I also knew that if I didn't, okay, if I didn't invest in myself, it was not going to work. For sure, right? So it might not work if I invested and, I didn't know what to invest in and all that stuff, because that's the truth. I did not know what I was investing in. I didn't know that there was a season for every investment, that there's certain things that you need at the very beginning of your business as compared to some things that you need when you're in the middle, and some specialties that you need later. I didn't know. And if I didn't know, I couldn't know, right? But I'm telling this to you now so that you know that you should also think, okay, where am I in my business? What exactly is it that I need right now? Okay, so getting back to the point. So the money, when I was thinking about, if I didn't invest or if I did invest, how am I going to make this work for myself? Because in my head, it was just like a big gaping hole in my bank account, right? Like I was working in a part-time job, and that's pretty much paying the bills, and everything else was just like, getting sucked out of me. Like it felt really quite horrible. Okay. But at that point, when I realized that it was no longer, when I made it non-negotiable and I had that urgency, it was no longer about the money. Like I couldn't think about the money. And that's why I invested with David Nagel a year and a half ago, because I knew that the money would paralyze me. I already had invested, over $60,000. I had already had zero results practically. There were, a couple of mentors that I worked with that were really great. But besides for that, I pretty much felt like I was manifesting living, right? And manifesting is great and all, but you need to be able to have a system that will really support consistency, because otherwise you're in stress and burnout and stress and burnout and stress and burnout, and that really doesn't lead anywhere. Okay, so it was not about the money anymore. It became about, how do I make this happen no matter what? Okay, and then it had to happen. And I made it happen. And that's how I went to, very quickly after that, I was able to hit, to go from 2,000 to 7,000, and then very quickly after that to 10,000, and consistent $10,000, and up to 15,000. Okay, so understand the journey can be very quick if you want to, and it can also be very long and painful. I went a long way, I have to admit, right? But when I made that decision, it was very quick. It was 30 days that it took me to go from, $1,500 to $2,000 a month to $7,000, and then after that, what I just told you. So it can be very fast, but you have to believe it. So let me show you some things so that you can start to believe it for yourself, okay? Because remember, it's all about your own experience, okay? So what I will be talking about today is primarily 4 main things in this call, right? The 4 things that will get you to the results that you want. Something like, booking 13 discovery sessions in 60 minutes and making $15,000, which is really great. That's what happened to me last month. These are the same things that I use with my own clients, okay? And I use them myself to make a difference. It makes a huge difference because, like I said, most of it is mindset. When you have your head in the right place, okay? But a lot of it is also the mindset to actually believe what is happening, okay? And understand what is happening so that you see what order, how it actually works. Because I feel like a lot of the times, if you don't understand how something works, then that's how you can't even believe it, okay? So that's how you can go very quickly to, 10K or whatever, because if you understand also how the structure works, how the system works, so to speak, you can get to the results a lot faster, okay? So let's get to the first teaching point. I just talked a lot, but necessary, okay? Necessary to set the stage. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is how to discover the why behind why you're repelling your clients, okay? Those clients are already ready to work with you. And also to release the calling burning inside of you, from doubt, fear, waiting, all of that stuff, pretty much from creating your own business, okay? Yours, not someone else's, okay? And mainly this has to do with the ideal client and the offer. So I know we just totally switch gears and I'm talking about something completely different that is more on the technical side, but listen to what I'm sharing, okay? Who you're speaking to right now is not hearing you, okay? Who you're speaking to, if you're not having those consistent results, if you're not having people on a wait list, if you're not having people reaching out to you and telling them how everything that you just shared on Facebook is exactly the experience that they're going through, it's because who you're speaking to is not hearing you. And the main problem behind this is the fact that most people, when they're thinking about their offer and their ideal client and all this stuff, is the fact that they, with the ideal client, they don't make it so it's just one person. So when you're actually identifying that person, that is just one person that they're actually thinking about, okay? You need to speak the exact words that they can hear, okay? And the offer needs to be something that they feel is absolutely made for them, okay? It needs to feel like it's something that is made for them. There's no more crossing your fingers, hoping that it will happen, right? Hoping to be chosen, hoping, like, what I call hope marketing. Because when you're actually saying the right words and you're actually talking to your ideal clients, they can actually listen, okay? And they can actually say yes with your marketing, which makes the whole selling process a lot easier. So what does this mean? It means that you don't have to compromise anywhere, okay? What you need to do is really understand what it is that it's not working right now. If you're not reaching the number of people that you want, if you're not having your discovery sessions being scheduled automatically for you, if you're not having enough people that you can keep a consistent business, right, that is 10K or more, there's something that you're not understanding about these two things, the offer and the ideal client, okay? They are the bread and butter, kale and green juice of your business, okay? Because with the ideal client and the offer, you can go on Facebook and sell with a Facebook post. You can sell your program, you can sell a discovery session with those two things in place. If you're not reaching enough people, or you're doing something like having giving a lot of, the discovery sessions, so mini free sessions and stuff like that, to have one person sign up with you, and it's leaving you burnt out, and it's not allowing you to actually make it sustainable. It's not something that is sustainable. So that means, you're doing a lot of work to get one client, right? You want to decrease that amount of work, right? You want to make it easier for yourself, because that's what also creates a consistent business, okay? If those things are not happening, there's something that's not working in how you're speaking to your ideal client. The words that you're using are not reaching them. And what you're offering to them is not irresistible enough. It's not irresistible enough. So those things need to shift. It needs to change so that you can actually connect with them at a deeper level, okay? I have an example from one of my clients. So I had someone that was She was working in a part-time job. She was playing around with her business for a few years. I think it was like 2 years, and she called it a business because, you know, she had calls online and all that stuff, but she never made an offer, right, to anybody. She never did anything with it. She didn't have a structure that would lead to clients. She had a structure that would get people very excited and comment on her stuff all the time, right? But it wasn't a business, it was a hobby, right? And that's another question that I want you to really ask yourself. Do I have a business or do I have a hobby? And I know that it's really hard for us to admit that all the work and all the love and care and, you know, heart and spirit that we've been putting into this baby that we have, right, to try to make it grow, and it's not working, and that to admit that it's a fake baby, right? However, the honesty will do a lot for you, because if you start treating your business as a business, you will start making completely different decisions, okay? Working 80-hour weeks and doing all of the wrong things is no longer negotiable, okay? You wouldn't be doing those things anymore, because it's not possible for you to consider something a business and understand what a business actually is, and then to be going and spending like I did. I'm not, you know, I'm not judging here at all, okay? I did this. I'm talking about me in this situation, okay? And I'm sure that a lot of you have also gone through it. Working so much, but doing nothing, okay? And she was able to take that and you know, turn it into a really good business that people were, you know, seeking her out, because she knew exactly what she was offering. Okay, she knew exactly who she was going to be talking to, and then she went out there and posted things on Facebook. And she started getting people really interested, messaging her. And then within 3 months, she was able to ditch her job, right? And then focus on her gifts, right? This was her soul-aligned soul-aligned business, right? So it wasn't just any business, it was her business, something that really came out of her. And it made a huge difference, because, you know, when you're doing what you love to do, it changes your perspective when you're actually able to deliver and also be paid for what you are here to do. It makes like a complete, like, that's a shift. It's the type of leap that you get. It's a type of experience that you need, like this dude talked about, right? It's the kind of experience that once you have, you can never undo. You can never undo that experience, because it will be yours, okay? So that covered 2 points: the ideal client, the offer. All right. I hope you're keeping track, because this is so awesome. Okay, you know what? I feel like this is a good pause for me to check you people on the Hangout page, just to see how you are, like how you are, and like how many of you have posted. Yay! I hope you guys are already start. Yes, Carly, I agree as well. The beliefs make you or break you. Okay. You guys start posting questions if you have any. Oh, Renee, I didn't know that you were from South Africa. That's so awesome. Ananda, hi, how are you? Yes, refresh. Okay, so here's the deal. You want to refresh so that you can get the new comments again and again, okay? Unfortunately, it doesn't automatically just show up. So just refresh and make sure that you put newest, and then it will sort them in the right way so that you can see only the new stuff and not all of the stuff. But if you guys have any questions, you can start posting them about this, okay? Let me get back to here. Okay, so number 3 here is going to be how to take your income from $0 to $10,000 in as little as a month without a list, website, or even testimonials, okay? And still being full integrity. So this is something that I talk about a lot, but it's worth repeating because I feel it's one of those things that I mentioned at the beginning that we know about, but we're not doing, right? So if you know about this, but you're still not doing it, then it's very important that you pay close attention and that you actually start asking yourself different questions, okay? It's very important because this is one of those places where your subconscious mind will completely block you from even receiving what you need to receive. So listen, take notes. If there's something in here that you know, but you haven't been doing, or that you know that you're not implementing correctly, you need to write it down as well, okay? The main thing here is the fact that most women feel like a fraud because they don't have testimonials, or they've been working with a lot of clients, but they haven't been maybe getting the results because they themselves maybe don't believe in themselves, so they don't have the confidence. Can they really do this? If they're at the beginning, I've had some clients that when they are at the very beginning, they really doubt, can I really do this? Can I really help someone? And that becomes like a block right from the very get-go. Okay, so how do you jump from that, from zero, okay, to making $10,000 in a month? And I had a client that recently did that, and I have a lot of other clients that have, come to that same level as well, of making a huge leap very quickly. And the importance is comes on two things: the timing and the structure. Okay, what does that mean exactly? Okay, the structure, because you need to have a system that actually works. Okay, it's very important. Without the system, it makes it a lot harder. Like I said, you could be working so much and not doing the right things. So it's important that you're doing the right things, that you're investing in the right things, right? That you have, I have a lot of my clients and things like that have, invested in a website and photo shoots and branding and a bunch of courses, and they haven't received any results, okay? Understanding what season it is in your business. And let me tell you a little bit what that means, because I think that I sort of like feel that some of you are like, I don't understand what that means. What does that mean? Like, what season? Okay, let me tell you what it means. So when I started, my business, I invested with coaches and things like that, but I actually started it before investing with coaches. I started with programs. I think it was like, because of the fact that, there's two things that provide results. These are the things that I talk about all the time. It's the mindset and the strategy, right? I didn't have the mindset. I didn't know exactly what I needed. So I was investing in all of the wrong things. Those things can be super valuable, okay? But it wasn't the right time for them, okay? It was not the right time for them. And because I didn't know that, it created a huge rift of 2 years. So when you have okay, you right there, and you're 2 years into this, 3 years into this, 4 or 5. I've had people that I've had discovery sessions with that have been into this like for 10 years, okay? And their business is still not working. If you're in this situation, right, and you're seeing that this is happening, you need to understand that you're likely doing something that's not the right thing at this particular time. I believe that a lot of those courses offer really amazing information, a lot of those programs and all of that stuff, but you need to understand exactly what it is to go, honestly, this is the truth. I feel that if you need mindset and you need strategy. If you don't have those things at the very beginning, it's not going to work. Mindset can only come from someone. You borrow someone's faith in order for you to actually, believe that something is possible by understanding how it works and all of that stuff. And a lot of that, it doesn't come from a course. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that, because I do believe that a lot of those courses are really great, but if a lot of what you're doing in your business is investing in a lot of courses and it hasn't given you any results, and I would say question that strategy. I questioned it because it was 2 years. After 2 years, I think I was around for long enough that I knew, oh hell yeah, I need two things. I need the right strategy and I need the right structure. I was able to create the strategy for myself because of the fact that I had taken so many courses. I've invested like, $60,000 in courses that I was like, okay, now I can do this coherently and see how something like this will work, right? And then I had the mindset, which I had to get from someone else. I couldn't do it for myself. So if that's the case, and you really know where you need to go, you really know what you need to find right now, okay? At the very beginning, if you're doing something else, then I would really suggest that you change that strategy, because if it's not working, there's a reason why it's not working, okay? Okay, so, and that's part of the reason why I had like no clients for like 4 months straight. At one point, it was really bad. And then I went very quickly from, not zero. I was making like 1,500 to 2,000 every month for my business. And then I went to, 7,000 very quickly. And then I went to 10,000 and 15,000, okay? So the speed and the structure, okay? The speed is important because the longer it takes, the more blocks that you have built up, the more resistance that you have built up, the more experience in the negative direction. So I talked about experience in the positive direction, like Don Miguel Ruiz talked about. You need to have your own experience of what the truth is, right? But if you believe that the truth is that it's going to be really hard, that it takes forever for you to do this because that is your personal experience right now, you really need to borrow someone else's belief, because right now what you're saying is that it's going to take that much longer for you to get to where you want to go. You need to believe that it's possible now, and then you don't have to feel like a fraud by not having testimonials, because if you do that very quickly, you can get the testimonials, okay? The strategy helps you with that. The structure helps you with that. And speed helps you with that. It's very important. One of the biggest problems that I see is the fact that it takes people way too long. It should not be taking that long. Okay, speed is one of like the main perpetrators for people in the lack of success, okay? Because of the fact that they are having an issue with how long it's taking, and that length of time is affecting their beliefs. Their beliefs are creating the same reality over and over. There needs to be a break in it so that you can actually see a different perspective. And a lot of the times that break comes, it comes from the mindset. It comes from the mindset. It also comes from having a strategy that really works, okay? Because when you can actually depend a little bit more on the strategy, you can breathe, okay? That's what I do when I do my launches and all of that stuff. That's why I can go, and put together a 72-hour launch and get, 70 super targeted leads, and having 13 discovery sessions and making $15,000 within the month, because I depended on that strategy. I use speed. 72 hours is a very short period of time. And then I just implemented. Okay, I didn't allow my mindset to stop me from doing that because of the time that it was a short period of time, and I just had to do things quickly. Okay, when you give things too much time, you have to, time needs space, and then it just creates this whole avalanche of non-results, right? So you want to do it as quickly as possible, which is why I, a lot of the time, love working with my clients and, and trying to get those results within 30 days, because then like that, they know, they feel it, they experience their truth as something different, and then that can continue giving really amazing results, okay? So I want to give you another example from one of my other clients. So she went from zero pretty much to 10K in 30 days. And another one that did it very quickly as well is like in a very, 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 very difficult market is one of my other clients that doubled her income within a short period of time, okay? 10K in 30 days. at the very beginning of her business, okay? So it was the first month in her business. Can you imagine what that would do for you? Even if it's not the first month, because I know that very likely that's not the case for you, it's fine. It's fine. But the fact that you can do it within the next 30 days would be really amazing. And I know that you could use that cash for something fun, right? So let me tell you a little bit about how I used that, how to turn that 72-hour funnel into those results that I talked about. So the 70 super targeted leads from cold traffic in Facebook. I had, 13 discovery sessions scheduled and 15K in business, okay? Pretty much the idea here is you collapse years into weeks, okay? So the years that it took me before, you want to collapse them into weeks, into 4 weeks, okay? And you can turn that expensive hobby into a 6-figure business, because you can launch your 6-figure business with a 10K month, okay? That's when you start launching your 6 figures. When you hit 10K for the first time and you can repeat that over and over because you already know how to do it, then that's how you can start building your 6-figure business, okay? So what I did is the fact I used the same thing that I just talked about. I had my super targeted audience, which is you guys, okay? I had a very specific offer that I shared with them, okay? So I invited them into a conversation where I would be able to share about that offer, much like this one, so to speak. Right? And then I had the right mindset. So I didn't allow my mindset to create any blocks. I had also the timing right. So I had it in a short period of time so that it can create the fast results, right? And then I had the right strategy. So I had something really supporting me. And all I did was pretty much post on Facebook. I posted on Facebook. I had, I think, like 3 posts that were really targeted on Facebook. It led people into a sequence of 3 to 4 emails that were very specifically designed with a purpose in mind, okay? And that's the kind of thing that I share with my clients, exactly what to write about in each of the emails. And people automatically booked sessions with me. And then that transformed into $15,000. So understand that it doesn't have to be harder than that. Even without the sequence, you can totally convert people by bringing them into conversations when you're writing about the right things, okay? So it's very quick. Another one of my clients also had a really, really good experience with this, from making $150, I think it was, for her intensives. Okay, an intensive which takes so much energy and effort, okay, so much connection, so much energy. Like, I think that's the most important factor there, to making $5,000 from that after her discovery session. So with me, so she ended up signing up a little bit after that. So the shift from her discovery session with me is what helped her to sign up with me, because she was able to actually make that leap for herself from just the discovery session. So you can only imagine what it's like when you're actually doing the work, okay? So let's talk a little bit about, I know that I have only like 5 minutes for content, and I want to really open it up for questions because it's going to be awesome, okay? So the typical excuses that I hear for people is the things that they allow to get in the way. So I know that we all have reasons, and I know that we all have excuses, and I know that they can feel really valid, okay? I get a lot of, but Sue, you don't understand, this is what I'm going through, and this is my experience, and this and that. Listen, I was born in Cuba. I came here when I was 12. My mom was making $20,000 a year. I grew up in poverty in Cuba. I was pretty low middle class over here. And I didn't allow any of that stuff to stop me from going to college, from graduating top of my class in high school and in college, and from, you know, getting the jobs that I wanted, from going really fast in corporate, from living my dream of living in Paris, and actually in France, because I didn't live in Paris. I lived in Paris for a month, and then living in France for the rest in two, and traveling all over the world. I understand that those things feel really real to you, but I want you to ask yourself a question, okay? I want you to understand that the way that you relate to the problem is the problem, okay? And if you allow those excuses to stop you, they will always stop you, okay? So instead of just going with the story, okay, why don't you ask yourself a question? Is this like, am I really going to allow this to stop me? Is this really real? Like, is there a solution to this problem, okay, that I'm not seeing right now? Because when you go into the story and you go like, but Sasu, you don't understand, you know, my situation is this, and I'm dealing with this, and I'm dealing with that. All you're doing is just going deeply into the story, and you're not allowing the answers to really come to support you to break out of it, okay? A lot of the stories that I hear are having to do with, you know, relationship problems or like body sabotage, people's bodies shutting down or getting sick or this and that, you know. Everything that you have in your reality right now is a reflection of your subconscious mind, okay? Everything is reflecting to you what your subconscious mind is actually wanting you to experience to stop you. You have to understand that it doesn't matter if it's sickness, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, a relationship problem with your partner, it doesn't matter. And, you know, I understand we all have that stuff, okay? I'm not exempt from any of it. But I don't allow that to stop me, okay? Most people believe in the circumstances more than the truth, okay? More than the actual belief of what could happen. And when you believe in the circumstance more, you will always be stopped, okay? So you have to understand how to overcome that. And that's part of what I do with my clients. How can you actually see this? Because of the fact that, you know, what I shared with you from that quote is the fact that once you have the experience, you can actually see the truth. Well, you can only really show someone else the experience and teach them something differently when you've actually gone through it, okay? So you can only teach someone to make $10,000 if you've, you know, made that $10,000. You can only help someone to go through the mental processes that you have to go through in order to get yourself out of sabotage if you've also done those things. I know because I've gone through a lot of that stuff. So that's the reason why I also focus so much of my time with my clients on this. Because once you move past this, the strategy is very easy. The strategy is very easy. Okay, you have to believe, and beyond that, you have to believe in the truth, right? You have to believe that there is one truth. Your story doesn't mean that it's the truth. I actually had a post, I read something on one of the groups, and they were talking about like what would be, what I don't know what they were talking about, but it's all about perception, right? Your perception doesn't mean that it's the truth. How can you find a way out, okay? And that's what I want to give you, a way out, so that you can actually see your problem with clarity. Because right now it doesn't seem like that's the case. Otherwise you wouldn't be here in this hangout, okay? So here's what I want to do. I want to give you clarity so that you can solve your own problem, okay? I won't solve it for you because I can't, okay? Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to. When I tell people that it's up to them to solve their own problem, they get really scared, okay? I got an email from someone the other day asking me, how would I be different, okay? How would I know that, how would I know working with you, Sasu, would be, you know, would be a change for me, like that you would actually be the solution to my problem. But I want you to think about this. I want us to think about this for a moment, because it's really important that you actually see this with the clarity that it deserves, okay? It has to come from you, and listen to what I'm saying, because this is really important. If it doesn't come from you, you don't grow, okay? And you need to grow in order to receive that income, okay? Only a woman that makes $10,000, that has become the woman that makes that income can make that income, okay? If it doesn't come from you, it's not your own success. It's my success. And I don't want your success. I want you to have your own success, and I want me to have my own success, okay? My success, I will feel success, even more successful as a mentor by helping you be successful, okay? And a lot of the people, they're getting stopped because they're scared that it's going to be hard. And this is the reason why I didn't make it non-negotiable for myself for 2 years, right? So I was playing around with my business and I hadn't made my decision. I didn't have that level of urgency, and it was making a huge rift in me. So you need to get in that clarity on exactly what it is that you need to do in order for you to be able to solve your own problem, okay? Itchy. Because if you don't, then it's not going to be your own success. You need to be in this for you, okay? In this for you. So here's what I'm proposing. I have, last time I scheduled a lot more discovery sessions on this, but I'm not willing to do that right now. I want to take 10 discovery sessions, okay? There's gonna be only 10 available because I have a limited amount of time. I'm working with a lot of clients right now, and I also want to offer it to the 10 of you that first apply first, and second, that are the most qualified, okay? That you're really ready to receive what this is going to do for you. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing in the sessions is to figure out where the 6K, so the 6 figures, look at me, the 6K, where the 6 figures are actually hiding in your business, okay? So that you can start making those consistent 10K months, and so that you can get there in 30 days. Like, it doesn't have to be that long, okay? And the bonuses that I talked about, and then we're going to get into Q&A. Okay, I realized that I'm 2 minutes over. So the first bonus is the fact that I have a bonus where my team is going to be putting up the entire system. So the system that I use, the system that all my clients use for you. Okay, so that's 10K done for you, and it's actually, you know, worth like over $3,000 in terms of time, because I'm very involved with the process and checking everything in terms of materials and in terms of your own time, because it will save you a lot of time in putting it together. Okay, the second bonus, which is a surprise bonus that I decided to do, is the fact that you can get, if you were to sign up with me after the discovery session, you'll get a 100K roadmap session. So that's when we map out exactly what to do, when, at what point, so that you're never questioning what's the next step, what's the next step. You already know, even beyond working with me, you already know what you need to do in order to get to the next step, in order to get to the next step. So that's really helpful, because a lot of the times I get my clients asking me questions like, well, when would this happen? When will that happen? Well, no, we're going to map it out. So you know exactly when to start hiring. You know exactly when you can start leveraging and doing group programs. You know exactly when to do what in your business based on your own business and exactly what your desires are for the future. Okay? And if you want to sign up for that, there's a link in the Hangout page where it's showing there, or it should be showing there after 30 minutes, but I'm gonna shift it. If you refresh, you're gonna see it in a couple of minutes, okay? And then from there, you can just click on the button. It says click here to schedule your 10K breakthrough session, and you can sign up. Okay, open up for questions, because I'm not gonna spend any more time on that. Let's do this. Let's see, let me just refresh. A lot of you on the line. So happy for the turnout, for everybody here. Okay, wisdom, Renee. Think I'll borrow some of your beliefs, Tasu. Asa, I love that one. Tasu, you're touching on such relevant aspects. Thank you, you're welcome. A car identical to your beautiful new one just drove by me listening in my car. I think it's a sign. I love that. I love my little baby. Because of the results of last month, and because of the fact that I have my business being consistent 10K business, I was finally able to buy one of my dream cars. I have several dream cars, but I'll settle with one for now. And it's very beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. I was very excited. for last month. I'm in the Hangout, but there's no place to type in questions. So Tammy, refresh and see if you can see the questions. There should be Facebook comments below sharing with you. So you can see there where to type. Also, I would say try another browser in case that if you opted in, you should have been able to see this. The Hangout page should have been there. If you're getting this link from somewhere else, which shouldn't be because I don't have it, I don't give that an option, but if you're getting it from somewhere else, then that may be the reason why you're not seeing the questions, okay? I agree so much. Okay, no questions for now, you guys, come on. Ask me, use me, because seriously, I am here and I am ready to answer all your questions if you want. So let me refresh again. This is so much fun. And there's so many on you. There are at least 20 of you on the Hangout that I can see. There's actually other ways and I can't see everybody, but there's a lot of you still on the line. You know, if you guys don't ask questions, I'm gonna go. And I want you to think about this. I want you to think in terms of anything that you listened to that was still confusing. I want you to think anything that you listened to that you're not doing. Why are you not doing? Ask a question about why am I blocked in this particular area? Anything like that will really, because those are the things that actually keep you blocked and stopped, okay? If you have questions about how to use the strategy that I talked about, it's very easy, okay? It doesn't have to be very difficult. It's super, super simple, okay? If you have a question about how to sign up for the breakthrough session, ask, okay? I'm here for you. If you have a question about your business, about your particular business situation, and it's a simpler type of question, then we can discuss it now. If not, then I'll ask you to fill out an application so that we can see if you're a candidate for the discovery session. And that's going to help because we go in there about your own particular business. Ananda, you're so funny. That is so funny. Where are you seeing these other comments? It's below the Hangout page, Guy. So it should be there under the Hangout page. So you have the video, you have the box to schedule the discovery session, and then below there should be Facebook comments. So just type in over there. Oh, I don't charge for my breakthrough sessions, my love. Melanie Villeneuve, I don't charge for my discovery sessions. I do them absolutely free because I want you to understand what you would be getting if you end up and decide to work with me, okay? How do you use Facebook ads to get people onto your webinars, into your funnel? I don't. So I haven't been using Facebook ads in a really long time. And I think I may use them for a challenge that I have going on in my Facebook group. So if you've been in my Facebook group, you will see that I started a 30-day challenge last week, which is to, make $10,000 in 30 days. Which if you're working with me, you're doing, because I'm having everybody go through that, and we're addressing very specific problems that I see that stop people. I will use Facebook ads to bring people into the Facebook group and into the challenge, because I think that will be worth it. For my webinars, I don't know. I don't like it. I've had some, okay, here's the deal. I feel that it's less targeted. I like more going into groups and creating connections. A lot of you guys are here because I shared something very specific, or I talked to you even in person to sign you up. There's some people that I came from the first round of posts that I did in specific Facebook groups, where I had you do probably like 2, 3, or 4 actions in order to sign up for this. And there's a reason for that. I want people that are very committed and that want to do whatever it takes in order to get the information that they need in order to get success. Okay, so I find it that I like that personal connection and getting people, because let's look at it this way. The people, if you're doing group programs, or if you're doing, selling directly, meaning that you're selling like an e-course or something like that, Facebook ads really works, right? But if you're selling, going into a high-end group program, I think personal connection works better. Okay, so I prefer having a presence in the groups, being there, connecting, and then inviting only a select few of you. I think there were like 100 of you that signed up just from, I think I started posting about my event on Monday or Friday. No, not Friday. It was like Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I don't remember. So there's only a few days. I do it a few days before, and it's worked a lot better. So I hope that answers your question, Carly. I don't have a lot of people from Facebook ads coming into my funnel. I've used them before and it's worked really great, but I haven't yet had a single high-end client coming from a Facebook ad directly. Most people find me in groups, or they've had a connection with me before. So that's what I focus on. I focus on what works, pretty much. Let me refresh again. There's still a lot of you on the line. This is so much fun. I live for this, by the way. This is like the best thing ever. Okay, let's go backwards. Where are you seeing these comments? Okay, Guy, already. Any strategies for starting again when you get stuck or stopped? Any strategy for starting again? The first thing that I recommend is that you get really clear. I have a step 2 strategy on my website, which is really understanding why you had that stop in the first place and really understanding the truth. So the big problem is that most people, they don't, even when you're very spiritual and all of that, you don't really follow the laws of the universe to keep your head clear. So it really creates a lot of clutter, and it prevents you from actually seeing the situation clearly. So you need to be able to see the situation clearly so that you can see how you were, creating that block for yourself, and then to create a very, very quick plan to move out of it. The biggest problem is when that break becomes very long. Okay, so that's why success loves speed, because you want that period of time where it becomes very the period of time before your success to be very short, and you also want the period of time from the time that you're getting stopped or stuck to be very short, to get back on the horse as quickly as possible. That's what I recommend. You need to do it quickly. Okay, let's look at Renee. Renee, what would you suggest the simplest way to gain clarity about one's ideal client? Okay, so the thing that you know that you've hit your ideal client when you can actually read what you're sharing with them or about them, and you can only identify one person in that situation. So if you can identify a lot of people in a lot of different circumstances in life, in a lot of different places in their life, different people, like completely different people that have completely different backgrounds and things like that, I think that you're way too broad and you need to get even closer. But a lot of the times when I've seen people do this, and they get, even when they get very, very, very specific and they're still not getting results, then there's something that you're missing. Okay, so you're not seeing the situation very clearly, and that's a lot of that first quote that I read, where it said that that you need someone else's eyes on it. Okay, because that's why we need the practitioner, pretty much. When we can't see, then you need someone else's eyes to be able to see for you. Okay, so Wendy Reese He says, I guess I got a little lost with your presentation. So if I believe I am a $20,000 per month woman, I will be, and then your strategy and launch integrates that. Okay, so the strategy and the mindset work together. They work together. You can't have, personally, I believe that you can't have the strategy without the mindset. The strategy doesn't work without the mindset, and the mindset doesn't really work without the strategy. The strategy is about 10% of it, in my opinion. Some people believe that it's like 20%, but I think that it's really more like 10%. And I say that because you can have a very simple strategy with the right tools and the right mindset, meaning the ideal client, the strategy, the mindset, and the offer. You can post on Facebook and get a client, right? So you need those two things. And when you actually become, it's not about believing that you are a $20,000 a month woman. It's about becoming that woman, okay? Belief comes into play with that, obviously, because if you can't become something that you don't believe that you are. But it's a little bit beyond that. It's sort of like taking the actions that a $20,000 per month woman will take, right? A lot of the things that I see with people is the fact that, they think about manifesting and all this stuff, but then they're still, cutting coupons, or they're still, looking for the sale, or they're still, acting in all of these different ways that someone that was making a consistent high income would not be doing. Okay, so you have to see and make sure that all of your actions are integrated, that they're very complete, that you're actually following through in all aspects. If you're believing that you're a $20,000 a month woman, and yet you're not investing in your business like a $20,000 a month woman would be investing, then you're not. You're understanding a concept, but you're not knowing it and expressing it. You're not living it. And it's all about the living. The being is what creates the difference, okay? So Wendy, I hope that answers your question. Please let me know if I did not, okay? I have Ananda. Do you work with those who want to sell self-guided programs as opposed to one-on-one coaching? If you mean something like self-guided meditations, it depends really what it is that you want to do with that. If you have a goal for $10,000 a month and you want to sell only programs that are $197 or something like that, or you want to sell meditations. I've had someone in a discovery session before that said that she wanted to sell a membership program for $20, and then she wanted to make $20,000 a month. I'm like, you're gonna need a lot of people. So the goal has to match the plan and the means to be able to reach it. So this is something that I've seen in the marketplace a lot. I've seen people like Denise Duffield Thomas, and people like, Gina DeVee or Tara Marino, things like that. Those are the people that are in my sphere. So those are the people that I think about when I think about them. And plus, because I've taken a lot of those people's programs during those 2 years, essentially. So they all started with one-on-one coaching. And a lot of the people that are following them believe that they can start with group programs, like, self-guided programs, that kind of thing. So here's my take on that. The big problem that I see is that you're trying to follow in someone's footsteps because you're seeing the results that they've gotten, but that's not how they started. There's a different, as much as it comes, as there's a season for investing, right? So like what you're investing in at certain periods, there's also a season for everything like that you're teaching. So like how you're actually teaching and who you're working with and stuff like that, that also has a plan, which is why I do the 100K plan, because a lot of it in the end stages are more leverage. So that means more self-guided programs, more group programs, workshops, and things like that, that are more in alignment with who and where you want to be. But a lot of the time, starting with that at the very beginning, I find it very difficult. That was a long explanation for what you asked. Do I work with people? It really depends on your situation, and it depends on what exactly you want to do. I would say fill out an application, and I can check, and then we can have a conversation if that's, if I feel that that would be a match for us. Generally, no. Generally, no. But I have worked with people that have wanted to create membership programs. I have worked with people that are artists and things like that. When they're very highly motivated and they're very excited about doing the work, and they can implement a lot of what I do to their own business. So it's not really limited in that way. Okay. I've even worked with like yoga instructors. I have a client that's still a yoga instructor, and I help her with her yoga business, which is a physical business. So it doesn't matter in that way. But what I thrive at is the one-on-one online coaching, that kind of thing. Okay. So let's see the next one. So you spent a fair amount of time interacting with groups on Facebook. Is that right? Yes and no. So when I am in launch mode, yes, I spend quite a bit of time, but it's not like posting a lot. It's more like posting and then checking back in, commenting, that kind of thing. When I am not, I do a lot of connecting on Facebook groups, okay? And I also post highly educational. If you've seen any of my posts, like they're gigantic, right? Because I pretty much write really, really long educational posts that position me as an expert. So I spent quite a bit of time, but it's not really as much as you think. It's on most days when I'm not launching, it's probably around 30 minutes to an hour a day. And that's about it. And then the rest of it is more like if I'm in there, it's because I want to be in there, not because I need to be in there. And there's a difference with that. Okay. Let's see. I love that question, Guy. That's awesome. And I hope that I'm saying your name right, because I hate it when people say my name wrong, which, by the way, is Sasu. Okay. Carly Dawson, there is a pretty big delay from my end, but do you promote in groups? Yes, I promote in groups. The groups, a lot of you come from some groups that don't even allow promotions. So my marketing is so powerful and so specific with my ideal client that I can really get a lot of people from those groups without even marketing. So what I'm doing is I'm actually talking to my ideal client, talking about their particular problems, and I can suck them out of those groups very easily with extremely valuable content. So I'm not really breaking any rules. I'm, offering a lot of value to the groups, and yet a lot of people are still coming from those where they don't even allow marketing. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, where do you get the 10K in 30 days done for you bonus? Okay, so everybody that is here, and everybody that signs up for a discovery session, if you end up working with me, then my team will actually set up your 10K in 30 days launch. So pretty much the way that I work, my launch strategy, the same thing that I worked on last month, the same thing that I'm doing right now. I set the whole thing up with my team, and then you just have to plug in your voice and all that stuff into the sequence, your own ideal client offer, that kind of thing, and make it yours so that it feels like it's an extension of you. And then you can go into and make your 10K in 30 days. So I hope that answers for you. Heather, I have so many ideas what I want to implement right now, but I have trouble focusing on just one. How can I choose one to hone in on, and how I can stay focused and not start more projects before finishing the one I choose? Hope that makes sense. Oh, does that make sense? Oh my God. Heather, a lot of my clients are artists, okay? So they are so artistic and so like all over the place that this totally resonates for me. So let me explain this to you. The first thing is the fact that right now you're keeping a lot of projects or a lot of things in a lot of different places instead of integrating. So that's one of the first things that I would say. Find a way to integrate. A lot of the times it's really difficult because if you don't have that ability to really see how things will work together, then that's where you would be not really seeing how to do it. That's part of what I do with my clients on an intensive. So it's really a lot of fun because you can see, oh my God, you can totally bring a lot of my gifts, a lot of my, things that I'm really passionate about into one business without having to put a lot of things in a lot of different places, okay? The second thing is the fact that, when you're really artistic and you're really creative, okay, you will have that impulse to want to do a lot of things at the same time. Not everything has to be a business, okay? Some things can be hobbies and projects, but they do need to have their proper place, okay, and their proper time. If you're using the time that should be focused on business for a hobby, then that's a problem. That's how you don't get to achieve your goals and your results and become 10K business owner as quickly as you can because you're being distracted and that kind of thing. The other thing with that is that I like to tell my clients that you want to also try to focus on one for a long time. Say that you wanted to create like 2, 3 businesses. I would say you need to focus on the one that actually is the most exciting to you, the one that you can actually see yourself putting a lot of time in, and then putting everything else in the back burner. How do you do that? When ideas and inspiration come to you, you just write it down in a piece of paper or in a notebook and just keep them all together in one place. They're not going to go away. They're not going to disappear just because you're putting it in one place and not necessarily taking action, right? Just write down the ideas, write down the inspiration, but don't take action on them yet. The action is reserved for the business that you're actually pursuing at a particular point. I think that's it for now. I hope that that's enough to answer your question and to keep you from, being stuck by having or feeling like you have to choose one thing when you have so many other things that you want to do. Because I know that that's a big problem. Okay, let me go back. Okay, let's see. Do you work? So you spend a fair amount interacting. Okay. Great, thank you. Carly, you're welcome. Okay. Do you work with your clients in regards to setting up systems in their business to keep everything running smoothly? Yes. Well, that's the bonus that I was just talking about. My VA, pretty much, she's the one that is setting up the entire system based on what I have my system to look like. So it's pretty much like I call it a sequence, the sequence that actually takes someone from just meeting you to a yes, right? So what is the experience that you need to bring someone through that entire journey so that they receive everything that they need from you to be able to say yes to themselves by working with you? So that's what I do. And for the most part, it works automatically. Depends on the systems that you're using. If you're using something like MailChimp, there's a little bit of, clicking that you need to do on a monthly basis or on a launch basis to make it happen. But for the most part, it is pretty automatic. And that is one of the things that I love about it, because it can really run by itself. And you can also edit and change things as you go along, which is really great too. What do you mean by connecting on Facebook versus posting? So what I mean by connecting is that I'm actually going into other people's posts, other people's stuff that they've talked about, and then I share my very strong opinion on it. I have a very, very strong opinion on things. So I go in there and I talk about the things that I'm an expert on. So it's not something like hijacking someone's, you know, post and something like that, because that's kind of slimy. But I'm talking about, you know, if it's a conversation or something like that, and someone is asking a question or something, I can share what my take is on it. So I had someone in a group today, I think, or something, or yesterday, talk about some, what was the post about? It was about, oh yeah, how she felt that, you know, it was really something, I don't know what the feeling was that she was talking about. She said that she didn't like the fact that a lot of people were totally talking about the high-end business because a lot of people don't have money to invest and all this other stuff. And how people, it felt really slimy not to, you know, talk or not to want to help some people because they don't have money or something. I don't know. I can't, like, this is like what I thought she was writing about. I have no idea if that's the actual thing that she was writing about. This was like this morning and I just like skimmed through it. So I share my opinion on it. And I shared that, you know, if people want to work with certain people, that's okay. But if other people want to work with high-end clients, then that's okay too. And there's a reason why people make those decisions in business, because it really does affect, you know, who it is that you're working with. You want to make sure that you're working with the people that are really meant for you to be working with. So, so something like that, I would come and I would just comment on it because I feel like it's my opinion, and then I have people responding to it. The other day I posted on someone's comment, and I think someone directly, you know, messaged me saying, oh my God, this really helped me. Like, can you help me with this other thing? And, you know, and that was an opportunity. Some people that do that, they also come into discovery sessions with me. So I had a lot of people from just commenting on some other people's posts or connecting, like I say. I call it creating community, actually. Then they just reach out to me and they, you know, pretty much ask, hey, can I have a discovery session with you? And that's kind of cool. It's pretty much by doing what I would already be doing, but by taking a stand for what I stand for, because I understand what I offer, who my ideal client is, I have the right mindset, and I know what my strategy is, which involves connecting on Facebook. Ta-da! Does that make sense? And by the way, part of the deal with the strategy is the fact that I only do the things that are absolutely necessary and none of the things that are not. So the biggest issues with breaking through for women and taking that leap to the next level is the fact that they're doing a lot of the wrong things, okay? So they're focusing on a lot of things that don't really lead to clients. So you have to understand that if it's not leading to clients, you should not be doing it, okay? It's really, okay, hold on. Thank you, Heather, for your question, and Sue for your answer to her. I have 2 businesses and it is quite challenging. Yep, I hear you. It can be very challenging. So, but I've had quite a few clients that come to me with, you know, a lot of ideas. Sometimes they're easily integrated, sometimes they're not, which is okay. You just want to make sure that you're focusing on the things that you need to focus on. A lot of the times it's a big issue with time management, where you're not following your schedule and things like that, which can really affect the results that you are having. And that is really, really, you know, creating a huge rift, or it can really affect your results. I hope that makes sense. Let me see if there's any more questions. I know that we're a little bit over time, but I'm okay to stay a little bit longer. Makes perfect sense. Thanks, Sue. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions. I'm gonna stay like a couple more minutes and see if you guys have any more questions. This is awesome. Oh my God, I could answer questions forever. I love questions, I have to say. So again, let me just share with you what I was gonna, about the discovery session. The discovery session is really what kicks off the entire transformation that I work with my clients on. So it's not the actual intensive or anything. I've had clients that after discovery session 1 tripled her income. After the discovery session 1 went from charging $150 to $5,000, which is I don't know how many 1,000% more, right? And getting it. So it's not just, oh yeah, I'm charging this. No, she went and got that money when she never charged that much before. So the discovery session really helps to really create clarity for you specifically. I know that I talked about a lot of things here, but this is very general, okay? So you definitely want to understand that, there's a huge difference between being very general and very specific. Your particular situation may not be, 100%, like it's your situation. It's your situation. A lot of your blocks, a lot of your beliefs, a lot of the particular ways that you want to do business. Can it be possible? The questions that you have about those things and how you can make it happen in a short period of time. So that's why I do the discovery sessions primarily, because first of all, I feel that a lot of you have a lot of beliefs that are not really supporting you, which is mainly why I focus this call this time on belief, because it's crazy. It's crazy. All of the things that we're believing and all the rules that we're creating for ourselves that are not really leading to us believing the truth. We're believing in a story that's not really supporting us. And then we have all of these other rules that have to do with business or how business works and all the stuff that's also not based in truth. Okay, so a lot of the times, like, we're doing a lot of marketing that has to do with, like, doing a lot of freebies and all these other things that are not really, they're not long-term solutions. They're very short-term, and they're also a straight path to burnout. So I want to give you an idea of what it would look like when you can get those results very quickly, because that's what's going to create the shift for you, okay? The success very quickly, because the faster that it is, the better that it is for you. You definitely don't want to spend months and months and even years, like a lot of my clients have, trying to make this work. Also understanding that it's a matter of time. If you've been trying for years already, how much time are you willing to spend just believing that you can do it by yourself? I really believe that we have the power to make it work. I haven't yet met a single person that has been able to do it by themselves. So you can challenge me on that all you want, but I'm not going to change my opinion, because I have seen and talked to a lot of super successful entrepreneurs, especially at David's Mastermind. And none of them have done it by themselves, okay? So that's food for thought right there. Let me just do another check-in, and then we will end if there's somebody else. Okay, 3 more comments. Let me see what else. Bye, Alexia. Nice to see you. Okay. That's it. I thought that I had 50 before, but I guess there's less. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, I don't see anything else. I'm going to do one more refresh. If you guys post a question, I'd be happy to answer. If not, then I will be off. And understanding, I would be delighted to speak with you one-on-one, because I think that's going to be fun. And I love answering questions, so it would be my pleasure to answer questions for you, to be able to give you a shift in perspective. Okay, thank you, Sasu, for all of you and all of you for sharing this space. You're welcome, Renette. That's so nice. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. My pleasure to be here with you. I think that these events keep getting better and better. I don't know about you and if you've been with me before, but it's been even more I think spirit driven is the word. Spirit driven, really intuitive, really engaging, connecting. I feel all of those really good words. I know that I'm teaching business, and I know that it may feel like those two are at the other end of the spectrum, but they really aren't. I teach business in a completely different way, especially when I'm working one-on-one with my clients. I focus on mindset. I focus on making sure that it's aligned for the individual, right? So that it's not someone else's business, because that will never fulfill you. I'm very interested in your fulfillment, very interested in your success, and I hope that I can talk to you on one-on-one level very soon. I'm sending you all my love. Let me just do one last one, just in case, because there's still so many of you on the line, and I don't know if you guys are asking anything else. Okay, I'm still not seeing. I see that there's more people that have posted, but I'm not seeing the actual posts. So I don't know what's going on, but okay, I think we're good. So many comments. I love it. Okay, guys, love you so much. Hope to talk to you, and keep an eye out. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.